Let's begin by setting the bones to support a neutral spine. Make a triangle with fingers and thumbs on the pelvis and tip pelvis back and forth until you can make it level between the pubic bone and the hip bones, guided by your fingers. And then slide the fingers up to position the rib cage. Breathe into the ribs. On an inhale, the ribs expand. On the exhale, the lower ribs draw down, leveling with the hip bones. So inhale, expand. Exhale, lower ribs level with hip bones. Then have the feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Just make sure your shoulder blades are flat on the ground. So when you feel satisfied the bones are aligned, use the inhale to prepare, the exhale to stabilize, and then straighten right leg out, bring it back. Inhale, stabilize, exhale, straighten left leg, bring it back. You can keep your hands on the pelvis to ensure that you're staying stable as you mobilize. Always use the exhale to activate and engage the core and help move the legs. Leg slides are the ideal exercise to do postnatally to help slowly rebuild the strength at your core. It activates the transversus abdominis and the pelvic floor. A few more repetitions here, working with control and with your breath. Mindful not to let the lower ribs flare up and out. Mindful to keep the lower belly drawing down toward the spine every exhale. Try not to strain the neck, the shoulders. Now inhale, the arms up over the head. Exhale, bring the arms back alongside hips. A few more times like this. Now try not to let the lower ribs flare out as you take the arms up overhead. Try not to move the rib cage around or take the upper back off the ground. You may not take the back of the hands all the way to the ground above you, that's fine, as long as you're keeping control at your torso. Every exhalation, the lower belly pulls down towards the spine, the pelvic floor zips up, so you maintain the neutral spine all the way down. Prepare for ab prep, so next time you come up, lift head and shoulders, look up at the knees, but keep the back of the neck long and keep a distance between chin and chest, like you've got a small peach underneath your chin. So every deep inhale, keep length through the belly. Every exhale, pull the lower belly down towards the spine. Now the lower ribs draw closer towards the hip bones. Don't let your pelvic bowl tilt, so keep a neutral pelvis by having the hip bones and the pubic bone level. Come down, take a breath, and then come back up on the next exhalation. Keep the shoulders broad. Exhale, raise right knee, right foot. Inhale there. Exhale, raise left knee, left foot. Holding it here and breathing. Keeping the core engaged. Exhale, lower the left toes and bring them back up. So work with your breath and keep control at the pelvis as you gently, lightly dip the toes down and bring them back. Keeping the head up, the whole torso steady. Now alternate going onto the right side, dipping the toes down. Don't let your pelvis tilt. Keep the control. There's a slight engagement at the glutes. And lower the head. With control, exhale, lower the legs. Reconnect to neutral pelvis, neutral rib cage for the neutral spine. And then we're going to raise the ankles again in line with the knees. And this time take the knees out to the side one at a time and bring it back to center. So reconnecting to the adductors, building the strength here. Use the exhale to stabilize at the pelvis and then move knee out. The movement doesn't need to be really large. Just make sure that you keep the control. Okay, then exhale to slowly bring one leg at a time down to the ground. Nice deep breath. Release out the neck by turning the head side to side. And then we're going to take inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, sit up, look up, shoulders up, reaching for the knees. Exhale to raise left leg. Inhale, exhale to raise right leg. Now, activating transversus abdominis by pushing the arms into the knees, the hands into the knees, straight arms, and the knees resist and push back into the hands. Every time you exhale, the lower belly draws down, the pelvic floor zips up, holding it here for several breaths. If it strains or bothers your neck too much, you just bring the head down, but keep the resistance going with the legs. And then slowly lower the one leg at a time to come back down. Hug the knees up into the chest and just circle the knees 3 times one way, 3 times the other way, and reposition the feet back down onto the floor. 90 degrees between upper and lower leg, feet hip width apart. Roll the shoulders back, then push down through the hips into your bridge. So this is a Pilates bridge. It's a straight line from shoulders to hips to knees, and then roll the spine down. Use an inhale to prepare, exhale to tilt the pelvis and push the hips up, and roll the spine back down. Exhale, push hips up, inhale at the top, exhale, roll spine back down from upper to middle to lower back. And again, exhale, pelvis up, breathe in here, and exhale, roll back down. Now this time when you come up into bridge, be mindful to maintain a neutral pelvis, neutral rib cage placement. So keep a straight line, level distance between ribs and hips, and keep the pubic bone up, and feel like you're gathering all of your musculature to the center line of your body. Inhale, arms up over the head, don't let the lower ribs flare out. Exhale, arms down. Keeping bridge, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, down, the lower belly draws down, pelvic floor up, glutes strong, press into the heels. Keep an activation through the inner thighs. Sit bones drawing together as you taking the arms up and down, and then try taking arms out to the sides and together. Inhale out to the sides, exhale, squeeze together. Every exhalation reinforces the strength at the core. We want to feel like we're bringing our abdominals back together after birth, and then lower the hips down, hug the knees up into the chest. Bring the forehead to the knees, and just giving the knees a little squeeze there. So now drop the knees over to the right as you turn your head to the left, and then rotate other way, knees to the left, head to the right. You're keeping the knees off of the ground, that way you engage the obliques to gently return back onto the center of your back. Inhale, twist, exhale, pull the knees back to the center. A few more repetitions. And then lower the legs and circle the hips, circle the sacrum on the ground one way and then the other way. We want to regain control at the abdominal wall, so those hip circles just help with that. Make sure you're not holding any tension in the neck or shoulders, so just turn head to side and then up and down, up and down. Now we're going to coordinate movement of pelvis and head. So pelvis up and down, head up and down. Now together, chin down, tailbone down, chin up, pubic bone up. Coordinate that movement between cranium and sacrum. Now side to side, head left to right, pelvis tips left to right, but without letting the knees move too much. So control that movement of the pelvis by using the lower belly and the pelvic floor. And then we're going to do circles, circle head, circle pelvis, same direction, same pace, and then reverse it. Again, keep the legs still. Keep the arms, the shoulders still. And then let's come up to seated position. And then from there, onto all fours. Take a moment to cat tilt your way in to warm up the spine. So inhale, lengthen belly, lift chest. Exhale, round the spine, draw the navel all the way up towards the spine. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, draw the lower ribs towards the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pulling up the belly towards the spine as you tip. Now really working on strengthening, toning abdominal wall by holding the breath out and cat tilting and drawing the navel up towards the spine. So maintain the breath out as you hold up and then release. Have a stretch by taking the arms out in front and curving the chest toward the floor. Nice deep breath here. Make your way down now onto your right side. Lie down onto your arm and have your right leg out straight, and then the left leg lifts up in line with the hip. Take a moment to set the bones for a neutral spine here. Pubic bone and hips level, lower ribs level with the hip bones. So raising that top leg, your left leg up and then down in line with the hip. No lower than the hip and not too high. When you're here going up and down with the leg, take that top leg a little bit back. And now circles from the hip to the leg. Don't rock the hips around. Make sure you're circling not just the ankle but the whole leg from the hip. Pull the lower belly in to keep a little gap between the bottom hip and the ribs. So you should reverse those circles. And now bend the top knee, the left knee in, and then extend that leg back behind you. It's kind of like a side squat. So knee in and then extend leg back. Again, the target area is still the glutes, so that's where you should feel the activation. And don't let the hips or the rib cage rock around. Be really careful to maintain your stability here. Okay, lower the leg and make your way back up to seated. The right foot to the left thigh and then just rotate round side to side. Your sit bone will lift. Then shift over all the way onto your left side. Arm as a pillow, legs out straight, your bottom leg, your left leg slightly forward, right leg slightly back, top leg slightly back, yeah? And then flex the foot so your heel is pointing away as you lift the leg a little higher than hip width and then down in line with the hip. Up and down, being mindful with the exhale to activate from the core by pulling lower belly in, zipping up pelvic floor, keeping the glutes strong. And then circling the leg from the hip. Sense of spaciousness in the hip by really reaching that right foot away from you. Now reverse the circles the other way. The movement doesn't need to be large, just precise. Keep weight in your bottom leg to help keep you stable. And now bend the top knee and extend the leg back. Don't tip. So you can have your hand out in front of you to help keep you from tipping forward also. But we want to really work from the glutes. So really extend that right heel back behind you to engage the lower parts of your glutes. Lower belly pulls in on the exhale. Good. And then coming back up to seated for the twist on this side. Heel to thigh and then rotate round. Keep the spine really tall, crown of the head reaching up. Your sit bones may lift off the ground as you rotate round. Now coming into mermaid stretch. So arms out to the sides, level with the shoulders. Inhale, stretch and reach over to your right. Exhale, ground into the sit bones to reach back up. Inhale, reach over, side bend. Exhale, come back straight. Inhale, reach over. Exhale, sit up. Inhale, reach over. Exhale, pull the lower belly in, the ribs down to reach up. Inhale, reach over. Now hollow and round and fingertips reach to the ground. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, as you sit up, you root the sit bones down. Inhale, reach over. Exhale, hollow and round. The lower ribs draw to the hips. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, reach up. Inhale, side bend. Hollow and lower. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, reach up. Inhale, side bend. Round and hollow the spine, the belly. Side bend and reach up. Swing the legs around to come to mermaid on the opposite side. Arms out in line with shoulders, lengthen spine. Inhale, stretch over to your left. Exhale, sit up tall. Inhale, side bend. Lengthening spine. Exhale, sit up tall. So you're feeling your obliques pulling you up here and making you come up back to neutral spine. Side bend, inhale, exhale, sit tall. Side bend, exhale, round and hollow. I'm going to pull the lower belly in. Inhale, side bend, exhale, sit tall. Inhale, side bend, exhale, round and hollow. Inhale, side bend, exhale, sit tall. Inhale, side bend, exhale, round and hollow. Side bend, inhale, exhale, sit tall. One more, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So now come and sit down with your legs straight out in front of you. Find neutral pelvis here by tilting pelvis back and forth until your pelvic bowl is straight. Lower ribs down, arms out to the side. You can have the knees bent if it helps you sit up straight. I'm going to go with the Russian twist, trunk rotation here. So exhale to rotate round and twist to your left. The lower belly pulls in. Keep your hips facing forward. The sit bones rooted down. Breathing. Every time you exhale, it helps you twist. Back to center and then inhale, lengthen spine, crown of the head reaches till. Exhale to rotate and twist to your right. Lower belly pulls in. Keep the shoulder blades back. Keep the hip bones facing the front and the sit bones glued down. So back over to the left, center, and then look the way that you're twisting. A few repetitions going one way then the other way, being really mindful not to shift the hips around. You can tell because your feet will stay in line with each other. Remember, the knees can be bent if it's too much work for your hip flexors. Just all the twist coming from the lower belly. It's like every time you exhale, you've got a belt around your waist and it's tightening up. So now I'm going to hollow and round the upper back. Pull the lower ribs down towards the hips. Exhale, hollow and round, going into a forward bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, round the upper back. Inhale, stretch up. So isolate all that movement just for the upper back. Then sit up tall and bend the knees. And then isolate the movement for the lower back by coming into C-shaped curve. Round and hollow, exhale, inhale, sit up. Reach up with the arms. Exhale, round and hollow, lower belly pulls in, and inhale, sit up. Round and hollow, scooping out from the pelvis to the belly button. We want to really feel control of the abdominal wall. You can take the option of the hands behind the head. That's if you've got the control there. You can build up to that. Really, really exhale to draw the pubic bone up and the lower belly in. Now the knees apart, squeeze the knees together, inhale, sit up. Exhale, round and hollow, knees apart, inhale, exhale, squeeze the knees together, inhale, sit up. Round, exhale, knees apart, squeeze the knees together and sit up. Exhale, round, knees apart, inhale, squeeze together, exhale, inhale, sit up. Arms to the sides. And then just roll the spine down in a relaxed forward bend. Nice, slow, deep breathing. Now try straightening the spine and coming into a more active forward bend where you lengthen your belly. Inhale, crown of the head reaches tall. Exhale, fold forward. And this completes our 20 minutes postnatal Pilates.